Mommy, can we trick or treat that house next?
Sweetheart, nobody trick or treats that house.
Why, who lives there?
The GenXperts. Bunch of weirdos.
Welcome back to the Gen X podcast. I'm your host, Derek Phelps. Today I'm joined by the Gen Experts, Dr. Derek Clements, Miss Courtney Clements, and Dr. Amanda Salazar Higgins. A couple of our experts are out because that's just, how it rolls in this jungle. Today we are going to be discussing our favorite time of year, Halloween. We're going to cover a few topics today about movies that scared us, Halloween traditions, how it's changed over time, because it's definitely changed over time. And we'll kind of discuss why that came about. I guess we can probably hit it off with everybody can talk about, movies that scared us. It doesn't have to actually be horror, because there's some movies I watched that were horror movies that scared the crap out of me.
Oh, The Day After.
Day After.
I mean, it ties in with the Cold War, but, the idea of the Russians sneak attacking us and the fight for survival afterwards. It's so hokey now because I found it in like the dollar bin at some store and watched had it on CD. It was like, wow, that was a TV thing.
Yeah.
So that really freaked me out.
The one, and mine is a horror movie, Prince of Darkness.
Very scary.
I honestly, that one still kind of scares me.
It holds up
a little. It holds up extremely well. Yeah.
I do not remember that one. Who was in there?
Dan Blocker's son, Haas's son from Bonanza. Alice Cooper had a cameo in it.
Wasn't that John Carpenter that did that?
Oh, I don't remember the answer to that. I'm so sorry.
I
could look it up. Not really any big names in it, but it was.
No, we really weren't.
Yeah.
There was I remember a black viscous goo in that somewhere that was apparently very evil.
It was extremely evil, and.
Well, just the words black viscous goo.
Yeah.
Sounds evil.
Manor, what about you?
Oh, I don't like scary movies, but there are a few that really scare me. But the first one I remember watching was Poltergeist.
Oh, yeah.
In the third grade.
Maybe a little young for that.
Yeah, exactly. And so that terrified me for a long time.
Stay away from swimming pools.
I still have a problem with TV static because of that movie.
Yeah. Well, the toy clown in that was just disturbing. And everybody has that fear of something under your bed.
I was just, the closet was very similar to the closet that I had. And I was always afraid something was going to come out of that closet, as a child. So, no, thank you.
I will stay right here. I'm good.
Well, I tried to avoid scary movies for the most part. I didn't expect the one I mentioned, but when I was old enough to start going to the closest theater to me, which was in Wynn, my friends would go, oh, we'll go watch so-and-so. And there were two screens. And, of course, we'd get there late. And they were setting me up to go in and watch Hellraiser or Friday the 13th or something. I hated them. I just did not like them. They all creeped me out. So pretty much all of them.
Yeah. Well, like 80s, you saw the rise of slasher films.
Mm-hmm.
Friday 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Chucky.
Chucky. Yeah, Child's Play. You see all these little slasher films coming. Someone was talking took a poll the other day of a genre you'd like to see come back in horror, and slasher was one of them because they've kind of fallen off. Like Scream, I think, was the last big slasher film series they really had franchise wise. It got beat out. More people wanted to see new werewolf films because they don't think that genre has been really done a whole lot recently. They said vampires were definitely taken care of over the past few years.
Zombies as well.
Zombies. Yeah, zombies was another one. It was like, it's been done. Take some time off. And that's what I'll go in. It scared me. And it was a TV movie. It's Salem's Lot.
Yes.
It scared the crap out of me.
That kid flying up to the window.
At the window. Let me in.
On the new effect.
Hell no. What? I know you're dead. I was at your funeral.
And the new one with the effects are even.
Have y'all watched it?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
What'd you think?
Amazing.
That was really good. Really good.
Some of the shots in that film, oh my gosh, I was sitting there going, that is so beautiful. When they're sitting, one of my two favorite shots in the film is the view from the back of the truck where the casket is, and they're pulling it out, and then the camera pans and you see Ben and the young boy in the rear view mirror of the truck, and it was just like one fluid shot. I was like, oh, that's pretty.
It was an improvement over the original, which is rare.
Yeah, I think both kind of missed some things from the book, but that always happens.
Right.
I mean, Ben Mears had came back to Salem's Lot because he wanted to live in the Marston house, because he had a childhood experience where he saw a ghost in that house when he was a kid, and that messed with him. I don't remember if in the book he said anything about his parents dying in an accident. I can't remember. But there are some different things, like Priest Callahan. He shows up in different stories through King. He winds up in the Dark Tower series fighting vampires, because Barlow doesn't kill him in the series. He cuts his wrist and feeds him vampire blood and kind of destroys him in a way. And he shows up in different stories. But that's also King's big thing, is how many places can I make people appear? But going back to that movie, especially that scene, the whole, let me in. Hell no, I ain't letting you in here. Mama. But then you get Lost Boys, and there's a ton of 80s really had a solid run. Here, really into the 90s, a little bit of horror films. But I mean, was one a shocker where the guy was killed in an electric chair. He's like a serial killer, and he wound up, his ghost was going through the electric lines and killing people. They actually had the guy that played him host an episode of Headbangers Ball on MTV. Oh,
that's awesome.
This is one of the movies that scared me. I don't spend all day. I could sit and talk about movies all day long because I watch a lot of media. It's pretty bad. I have an addiction. We just watched the other night Silver Bullet.
Wow, that's an oldie.
Corey Haim. And
may he rest.
The great Gary Busey. What stood out to me in that is C. Everett McGill's performance of the priest/werewolf. Spoiler alert. And then I had to go backtrack and look and see how many things C. Everett McGill done. He didn't make a minute of this. But it seems like I remember him in everything, like People Under the Stairs, which was a creep.
Oh, what about the Return of the Living Dead movies? The really the zom-coms, because you kind of got away from pure
they were kind of
horror.
Cheesy.
Yes, and in the best ways.
Yeah, the zombie that was in the container. Brain.
Yes. Yes.
Talking. Send more people like they want to eat more brains. Yeah, those were and dated too. I mean, they were so 80s, like the kids that were in the cemetery, mohawks and naked women, which is also a very prominent feature in a lot of slasher films.
Oh, yeah. Not naked men, but a lot of TNA.
A lot of TNA exposed there. But I guess, if that's the demographic you're trying to bring in, is mostly a male audience, I guess that would bring it in.
Yeah.
Trying to think of anything else. Interview of the Vampire came along during that.
Yeah, it wasn't 80s. Was it 80s?
No, it was definitely 90s.
Yeah, but it was definitely Gen X, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Definitely Gen X. Tom Cruise, very surprising in the best possible way.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought that would have been a role he would ever play.
Oh, I was mad. I was with Ann Ross on that one.
Yeah.
She and I were simultaneously ticked off about that casting, and then she and I both saw that movie and went, yeah, he's perfect. He was
probably the standout of the entire film. I mean, Lestat was probably, I think, the best character in the film.
Yeah.
What's his face?
Antonio Banderas? Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt was so milquetoast in that. I was like, maybe you should just walk out in the sun, buddy. I don't know. I'm not feeling you. I'm not feeling your Louis. I'm not. But
Kirsten Dunst was amazing. Amazing.
For that
very frightening.
For that young an actor to understand and have that much scope of knowing how to play a very adult, long-lived individual in a child's body. Wow.
mean, they did have to, like in the book, she was 5, and they definitely had to age it up a little bit for the movie. But I remember reading somewhere that the kiss on the, like Kirsten Dunst leans over and kisses Brad Pitt on the lips. Apparently that was her first kiss, and she was just grossed out because, Brad Pitt was like her brother. Every other woman in America was like, yes, please.
Yeah, I can imagine that now. So, sitting around some of her friends, so who was your first kiss? Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. Yeah.
How many people at the table go, yeah, same. He was my first kiss. I had a poster murder.
Yeah. Legends of the Fall. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Great movie. Yeah.
We could do a whole standalone Brad Pitt episode.
Well, they think of campy horror movies. I'd bring up Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Haven't seen it.
Cult classic of horrible film. There's nothing, but it's funny. It's just funny. And usually clowns in a horror film are not funny. These are funny.
Okay.
It's not Pennywise we're dealing with, which Tim Curry's Pennywise much better than the current Pennywise character.
Yeah, you can't top Tim Curry. You can't.
No, yeah. That's another one that
terrifying.
Frightened me.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't shower with my eyes closed because of that one scene where he comes out of the drain. I couldn't shower with my eyes closed for probably half a year. Yeah. I had to keep my eye on that drain, make sure Pennywise wasn't coming for me.
Like at those scenes where he's telling like really horrible jokes and he's up there going, yuck, yuck, yuck. And still you're just so off-put by his version of Pennywise and that clown.
He just has that way to deliver that way. And I'd always joke, I said, well, that's why he's always Cardinal Richelieu if there's anything in this particular time frame in France, because he just has that smirk, or he can actually put evil through it, or a schemer through it. And he has that ability. It's just incredible.
He understands the psychology of it.
I think so.
When you see him perform like almost any role, especially anything terrifying or just fear inducing,
it has a grin that makes it work.
Yeah, he understands his look. He's a good actor. I'll sit here and drift.
It's a high school teacher. It makes you wonder what he's like as a student. One of those it's probably looking at you and you're like, oh, you're up to no good. I just know you are.
He was a very quiet boy. Didn't say much.
So I know my wife teaches a class where they talk about scary monsters and vampires and so on. So to the panel, why werewolves? The new thing that people want to see. I'm kind of curious.
I think because because like vampires and zombies have been so overdone, it's so saturated in the market.
They could have picked aliens, and other stuff. So
but
there was a werewolf film out not long ago, within the last decade, that really didn't do much.
Well, and now you've got a remake of Wolfman coming out in the next year.
Oh, okay.
There's another werewolf movie being released, I think in another month or so, and I figure they'll probably It's like anything else. It's not just horror. I think in the film industry, you see a lot of just regurgitating and hit while it's hot.
Genre recycling.
Superhero is flooded the market so much lately. I mean, even Marvel decided last year to do Werewolf by Night.
Okay.
And I mean, it.
I had them say that. We did watch
good.
The show set in Australia, the television show. Got the where the lady, the lead was a female, and she had to lock herself away. I can't remember the name of the show.
Yeah, it's on Peacock. Josh Gad is in it.
Yeah, and so it was really a surprising.
Idle Fisher, it's
like Wolf Like Me.
Wolf Like Me, yeah.
I can look that up.
But just honestly looking at it from a wide perspective, I mean, with vampires, of course, through the decades, you've got all of these, kind of different reasons why vampires are coming back. But you can't really do much with a werewolf. Zombies you can mess with, vampires you can mess with. Werewolf is just
kind of cut and dry.
Kind of werewolf. There's not a lot you can do with it, and so I don't understand the resurgence.
Full moon comes out, there he is.
Well, I was just thinking because vampire, you have both the scare and the sex appeal aspects of it. Wolf.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's something for everybody. I guess if you're really into that.
And that's why we have laws.
I can see where it probably would. It would probably tie into like man's ability to be feral,
Oh,
Yeah.
like just that killer instinct that is in there somewhere.
Yeah.
fire protects us from those
Yeah.
scary things,
Yeah.
and
Um,
so that's the whole idea.
Yeah,
we're all
like
around
you see-
fires, worried about what was in the dark.
Exactly. Your mind ties something to it that
Good point.
well, skinwalkers.
Yes, absolutely.
You see those kind of things. Another horror movie from that genre, An American Werewolf in London. I was discussing with a friend the other day about Rick Baker's special effects in that film. How before that, when the Wolfman transforms, it was shot of a normal person, fade away.
Shot of a wolf.
Shot of a normal person with a little more hair on them.
Yeah, teen wolf.
Yeah, it would fade in and out. Yeah, but then you see like this transformation where his body is contorting in his hands and everything, and it's terrifying. And then he's got there killing people on top of it. Like say, man can go feral. Well, maybe this is what we're talking about. Lycanthropy actually exists out there. I mean, some people actually do think they turn into wolves.
And you had that big run with the Kate Beckinsale films quite a while back.
Yeah. Underworld.
Underworlds, but it's 2 or 3 of them in a row. And I'm sitting here struggling to think of werewolf films, and now we come up with several. So it's kind of why I need more.
Not to mention, represented in Harry Potter, there was Remus Lupin.
Yeah.
Lupin right there in the name.
And of course, we go all the way back to Dark Shadows. Eventually, they do have pretty much everything. I mean, we start a couple hundred episodes in with Barnabas Collins, but eventually we're getting the ghosts, the witches, the werewolves, the zombies, the time travel.
You got to get them all in there.
Oh, and of course, the Wednesday series also has a little bit of.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I think we'll see. I mean, I think it's a cycle we'll see go through, especially with film. We haven't done enough of these movies. Let's throw them out there. And now we can do them better with CGI, which this one werewolf movie, I think it's actually called Werewolves, it's releasing. They're actually doing a lot of practical effects in that, which I think is really good when you look at how CGI, because you watch something that's done CGI, you're like, that obviously can. But when it's a practical effect, it seems like it's a little more off-putting. We can probably go through probably a few more scary movies I could hit, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about like the kid stuff, the not scary stuff.
Oh, the not scary stuff?
Yeah, there's a lot of fun, a lot of good Halloween stuff that's not, Great Pumpkin.
Oh,
real quick.
Oh, yes.
I had to look it up. The Anthony Hopkins film I was thinking about was The Wolfman in 2010. So it was about a decade ago.
Wasn't that? It was also had a
Decade and a half.
Decade and a half.
And Emily Blunt and
it was a big cast.
it was a pretty good cast all the way around.
It flopped horribly.
It did. So you were talking about Great Pumpkin?
Yeah, Charlie Brown. I don't know about y'all. I always looked forward to the Charlie Brown Halloween special. And
Every year, watch it.
And if it was on the TV today and we walked through, we'd probably stop and watch part of it.
Absolutely.
Apple owns it now. Apple.
I think I knew that. Yeah, because that was the only place you could see the Christmas thing.
Yeah, you can't even catch it like on ABC or NBC anymore.
No.
I did not know.
Crazy to think that, because how many years you grow up running the house. It's on. And sit down and watch it. One I watched last year, the Paul Lynde Halloween special.
Yes. Yes.
With a kiss.
And Margaret Hamilton, who played the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
yes.
Yeah. What was it on? It was on one of the free streamers, I think.
Yeah.
One of those.
Oh, it's so bad.
It
Campy.
Oh, it's incredible.
It aired the night I was born.
No.
October 29th.
That explains a lot.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Now y'all all know who I am.
And of course, your classmates listening to this, and anybody listening to this, you might not be old enough to know who Paul Lynde is.
But I guarantee you can find a YouTube clip.
I guarantee you, if you watch Charlotte's Web and the rat in Charlotte's Web, you'll know who Paul Lynde is, because that's the one thing that stood out. And I was like, Paul Lynde, why do I know Paul Lynde's name? And when you hear his voice, you're like, Templeton.
Yep.
I remember from he's a match game.
Hollywood Square, Center Square.
Yeah, he was a lot of the
host.
game show panel.
Oh, yes.
Stuff of the.
And of course, this was before people could be out and proud, but you know, we all knew there was something a little different about Paul Lynde.
His humor was very tongue in cheek about it all. He was all in Halloween specials. You know, Disney's Halloween treat.
Mm-hmm.
It always ran. That's how I always got to see Ichabod Crane and the Headless
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I remember.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was a little scary for little people.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, it was kind of a little dipping your toe into scary.
Yes.
Looney Tunes always had, there was always a Bugs Bunny Halloween special where he, you know, the one where he visits the witch.
The Witch is one of my favorites.
Da-da-da-dee-da-da, abacadabra.
Oh my God. Yes, I love that one. He's like,
Abracapocus.
he's like, you sleep yet? You sleep yet?
Well, and Nightmare Before Christmas, I just looked it up. That's 93. That is firmly Gen X.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Firmly. And it's not a favorite of mine, but oh, yeah, Hocus Pocus.
I mean, the millennials probably know it better than we do because it was geared more towards their age range.
Right.
But we were there to witness it. I watched Hocus Pocus. I watched it about a week or two ago.
Oh, it's another one that holds up extraordinarily well.
Yeah, it does. It's well done.
The sequel wasn't as good.
No, it was okay.
Yeah. It's hard to find a sequel to anything that's as good as the original. Sometimes the sequel's better. Aliens was better than Alien.
I would say Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan was better than
yes.
the Star Trek The Motion Picture, for sure.
Empire Strikes Back was better than Star Wars. I hate to say it, but Empire Strikes Back was better than Star Wars.
Yeah, I agree.
Some really great humor in it.
Yeah.
And so on.
There's another one, Mr. Boogedy. If Bridget was here, she'd tell you all about Mr. Boogedy because she watched it with her family. If anyone out there listening to this knows about Mr. Boogedy, please comment on it because I've never watched it.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
It's new to me.
Well, you know, Disney had a little span where they would run these kind of scarier things like The Watcher in the Wood,
Mm-hmm.
Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Yeah.
That were, even though they're made for children, they're kind of scary.
Escape to Witch Mountain.
Escape to Witch Mountain.
Well, I mean, throughout history, I mean, you for sure definitely know that the fairy tales are scary.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Grimm's fairy tale.
They can be.
Terrifying, different than what Disney gives you.
Mhm.
Sanitized versions today.
Yeah, everybody out there complaining about Disney princesses, I wouldn't complain too much.
You look at the source material.
They cleaned it up real nice, presented it. Well, you think about just Halloween in general, too, how it's changed. I mean, my parents, I don't think by the time I was 6, they didn't go with me trick-or-treating anywhere. I was just let loose on the world.
Mm-hmm.
10,
Or you lived in a
15
neighborhood.
Yeah.
You lived where you knew your neighbors.
Yeah, and yeah,
I had no neighbors.
yeah, yeah. It's different.
Same.
It's different from a different bunch of perspectives. I mean, we go 10, 15 blocks,
Sure.
hitting every house we can, and we knew which ones not to go by because either the old man there was creepy, or they just didn't hand out candy.
No lights are off.
They got tricked. When we got older, they got tricked.
But you know, it's changed. You know, these days, it's all trunk or treat now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's I guess there are still neighborhoods that do door to door trick or treat, but it's the churches, they're
Well, the church
Yeah.
wanted the candy and the kids but they didn't want the scary parts, and they didn't want the quote unquote satanic parts of Halloween.
Mhm.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, it can all. We want these parts, but it's the same thing as the church bringing in the pagans.
Oh, exactly.
yeah.
We're going to take some of your pagan rituals of this Halloween celebration, but we're only going to take the parts we like. And if it brings you in, oh, thank goodness, Jesus was here to hand you a Snickers.
Do you know
Full size.
a lot of, I think you guys will agree with me, a lot of this shift from the trick or treat to the trunk or treat is from that urban legend about people finding razor blades in their kids' candy, or needles in their kids' candy, or drugs in their kids' candy. And every Halloween you'd see on TV, such and such hospital is offering free use of their X-rays to X-ray. And I think I've said this previously, up until very recently, it had only ever happened one time, and it was a father to his own son trying to get insurance money. But it shifted the whole culture of Halloween to away from fake fear to real fear.
It's like a lot of our urban legend. There's always a grain of truth to it, and that's what gives it enough foothold I remember my mother like the whole, let's take your candy and get it X-rated. I've told Bridget this. I remember having a full-on argument with my mother of, Mom, it's a box of Raisinets. There is no way in hell there's a razor blade in this box of raisins. Well, someone could have put aspirin in there.
Oh, no, not aspirin.
Oh, no, gosh. My ear will hurt.
Anything but that.
but it's still that, I don't think it really, kids weren't afraid because I know it's a night of free candy. But the adults are like, oh my God, they don't hurt our kids.
You hit something else. Cold. Halloween was cold back then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a meme the other day about that. I remember when October it was cold.
Yeah.
Frost on the pumpkin meant something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for us, we basically went to our relatives' house. The people who lived near us in the middle of nowhere, my grandparents and so on. So we just get a cheap mask, I had a Darth Vader mask and a little Darth Vader cake.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about those costumes in a minute.
Grandparents, yeah.
Oh, yeah, those costumes. They've evolved.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. The stuff that we had to wear, that basically just a flammable plastic garbage bag with something on it, and that mask that you couldn't see out of, you could barely breathe in.
With the underwear elastic bands.
With the underwear elastic band.
And it would, you would get moisture buildup from your breath.
Oh,
because it was so cold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like you're living in a rainforest.
Halloween night was not a night you wanted to eat beef jerky before you came.
I got the meat sweat.
Didn't keep you from eating as much candy at that time.
True.
We were so poor. I think I only remember having a store-bought costume once. And yes, it was the Smurfs. It was not Smurfette. It was just a generic Smurf. Mm-hmm. And then after that, it was just always homemade costumes. Mm-hmm. I was a cat a lot. Mom would, paint the nose and the whiskers on with her black eyeliner. Yeah. It was princess a couple times. And then,
And of course, now we've gotten to the family costumes. We didn't. My parents would no more have dressed up on Halloween, but now it's the whole family has to have some kind of group costume together. Mm-hmm. I have a friend who's doing the Goonies.
Really?
With like her family and her significant other's family, and they're doing a whole Goonie setup.
I don't ever remember my parents putting on a costume for Halloween.
No.
Participating. Most participation was, be back in about an hour or two. Don't stay out very late. See you. Love you. Mm-hmm. Let us check your candy when you get home. Which I always thought.
And take the good stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being taxed on this.
Yep.
What did you guys take with you to take your to collect your candy in?
Oh.
I had a pillowcase.
Did you have
We
pillowcase?
always had the pillowcase.
I think I had a plastic pumpkin, but I don't know.
Usually the generic plastic pumpkin.
It was the same one. You never got rid of it. You always kept the same one.
Yeah.
You had it.
And maybe once the McDonald's Boo Bucket.
Oh, yeah.
I do not remember.
We don't have one of those.
Yeah.
Just jealous of all the people who did.
Yeah.
But when I got old enough, it was drive your sister.
Oh, yeah.
So I had, and she's 4 years behind me, so she's almost getting to the end of it. But so then we could actually drive to Cherry Valley, which was 3 miles away, town of about 700 people, and go to like Sunday school teacher's house and open houses and hit those and come back. So the last thing I ever wore was a trash bag. And somebody said, "Were you supposed to be down trash?"
Obviously.
Candy. My sister, as you can see.
Candy. And Adam
And I'm
Sandler.
sure my mom was shamed when she got back after that. And maybe my dad too, for all I know.
What about school Halloween parties? Like in your classroom, do they still do that?
No. We had a Halloween play in first grade. Like we had lines for.
I do remember.
That makes sense.
Can't remember what grade in elementary school, but I do remember being. It was you mentioned the trash bag with bones on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a skeleton. We had to stand up and sit down at some point, but that was.
I remember.
That was in the 70s.
In choir, learning how to sing songs like "Witch's Brew."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ooh, my witch's brew. Ooh, what's it gonna do to you? Ooh, yeah. Yeah. But in school, you would have the class Halloween party, and with the cupcakes and the candy, and
Everybody wore their costumes.
Everybody wore their
Yeah.
costumes. Now in second grade, our second grade teacher, Miss Hogan, she was the old lady teacher. And of course now I don't know how old she was, but she was definitely the older of the three second grade teachers. And she would not let the Halloween witch come to our classroom and give out candy. And we did not like that one single. I mean, she brought us some candy, but it's not the same as having somebody's mom in green makeup and a witch outfit come and hand candy out.
Yeah.
But of course, they wouldn't do that today anyway. Or school Halloween carnivals. I mean, full on, not fall festival crap, Halloween carnival. You would have the haunted house with the bowls of peeled grapes and cooked spaghetti and
You're holding someone's eyeball.
All post satanic panic, slowly killing that off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, so it's this kind of crazy thing about it. I don't even remember a lot of people participating when I taught high school from 70 up here in Pocahontas from 97 to 2010. I don't remember many students. They had the option, but many people participating in wearing something up there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can remember, like I say, first grade, we had a Halloween play. So that would have been 1983. And Baldwin Elementary, where I went, it was first through fourth grade, I believe. And I can remember the Halloween play in first grade, and before I left fourth grade, there was fall festival. So it changed in that time, and they weren't doing Halloween plays. So that would have been 83 to 86, 87, maybe.
Yeah, again, it ties right, like you said, with the satanic panic.
I don't remember hearing a cult fall. When I remember hearing a cult fall festivals, because that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I don't remember the switch.
And our teachers dressed up too.
Sure.
I've got pictures somewhere of the Halloween play from first grade. My mom went, I was a ghost. Yes. Easy costume, good bed sheet, cut some holes, we're good.
Dude, you're supposed to be, I'm an angry teacher.
Yeah. You're doing a good job. I'm the ghost of one of the former students. Yeah, we had play. I've got pictures of it. And Beth Pace, my first grade teacher, first teacher that ever paddled me. We'll never forget your first. Sorry you weren't the last. But dressed up with all of us. And we're all up on the stage in the cafeteria at Baldwin Elementary. And there's Halloween decorations. There were the old classroom Halloween decorations. There we were. And there I am as a ghost. Lucky me.
And okay, so Derek, you're over at the school now. Do any of the teachers, and of course I don't think you're over at the elementary ever, but like junior high and high school, are there any kind of Halloween decorations at all, like spiders or skeletons or no?
That is a place of learned education. We really don't. And it's just not Halloween. Now I think we do put out a Christmas tree, but that's about it. You see the Christmas tree, but like other places, you don't see the nativity anywhere.
Norse paganism is allowed.
Norse paganism is very much allowed in our education system. We've got to learn from someone.
There you go.
But
Odin's the way.
Yeah, you really don't see Halloween represented. I don't know about the elementary and what they do, but you don't see it in high school. I don't really see it that much in the junior high either. But I think it's just such a disconnect now that you just don't see that representation there like it was. And you look at it from our perspective too. In the early 80s when we're having Halloween celebrations, well, that was normal because our parents grew up that way. It wasn't anything unusual for them. My dad talks about shenanigans in the countryside, in Halloween where they move somebody's outhouse.
Put it on the roof of their gym.
That was their fun.
Well, my sixth grade teacher taught my mother.
Yeah.
So, it was one of those. Yeah, I get you. It's the same way he did. I don't think he ever changed based on what my mom said. So I get it. So,
and do you think some of it has to do with that? In the school systems, that there would be some parents who would fully lose their crap over Halloween being in school?
Certainly.
Oh, definitely. And here's the thing, too. Here's an interesting view of it, too, because we live in a predominantly Catholic community. You still see your students come to school on Ash Wednesday. Now, I do think St. Paul does celebrate All Saints Day.
Okay.
after Halloween.
They go salty. Go salty in the day after.
Yeah.
Soul cakes.
You do see some representation there, and I think it's acceptable because that's your community.
Right.
So they're not going to shame, or shame's kind of a hard word. It's just faded off.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is a generational, quasi-religious political thing that has just really fallen off. And fear. The fear has done a lot of it.
Yeah.
Litigation.
Yeah, definitely in the public school system. Definitely litigation.
Mm-hmm. But even really the idea of trick or treating. If some kid tripped in your yard,
Oh yeah,
and
they can see.
they could sue you.
Well, we just want to keep the candy for ourselves in our house, so we turn off all the lights
Yeah.
in the back and eat it.
Yeah,
We're getting these for trick or treaters.
yeah. No, I'm not. I'm getting these because Reese's are in shapes now.
Well, in our neighborhood,
Tasty pumpkins.
15 years ago, we had, kids and we'd go through like bags and bags of candy. And then over the past decade, we just get fewer and fewer kids. I would say maybe the past couple of years, we've got two or three trick-or-treaters now. Yeah. We do have 5 churches in my neighborhood.
And let me guess, all of them do trunk or treat?
Yeah, they all do trunk or treat. But it's just sad because we enjoyed having the fun. We enjoyed dressing up and like making the yard all scary, just scare the kids appropriately, and just give out candy. That's fun because that was what we enjoyed growing up, and we wanted to pass that on culturally to the kids. But now it has fallen off, and it's very sad.
If I wanted to scare kids, I could just stand in the yard and yell at my drill sergeant yelled at us. It'd be great. They'd probably get some complaints, but
and it's fallen off in an era where candy has gotten.
That is a shame, isn't it?
They're going where you hunt where the deer are.
Yeah.
And so trunk or treat is where they're going to go spend their time because that's where you're going to load up.
Yeah.
And then you're going to target a few relatives and then you're going to go.
Yeah. If, our listeners here, in case you didn't know, we have a bowl of retro candy that we've sought out and discovered to remind us in some ways where candy was good when we were kids and some candy we understood was trash. As I look at a strand of candy buttons.
Yeah. It's just plain sugar on a piece of paper.
I searched really hard to find sixlets just to piss everybody at the table off.
It would be really horrible are those weird peanut butter things in those black and orange
they do.
wax paper.
They are at Walmart.
Right
and you can't ever get all the paper off. And so those are your hard times. Once you've gone through all your good candy and that was what's left, and you'd be like, well, that's what's left. And
that's bargain candy right there.
I liked that. It was good to me, and I just had to send, put a funny "you're wrong" comment down on somebody's meme. Here's that candy, and underneath it is a cat puking. I'm like, no.
I mean, I guess something for everybody, I guess.
Well, we had a discussion the other day about only Brock's candy corn is really decent candy corn. All the other versions, whoever produced candy corn, really isn't as good. I don't know if it's because there really is a difference in how it's made, or my mind goes, well, I used to get that Brock's candy corn at the Brock's display. With
where you could scoop it into the little bag.
So,
I forgot about that.
I don't know if it comes in nostalgia flavor.
Absolutely.
But, it does like get a little bit in your mind.
But now, speaking of the differences, you get freeze dried.
Yeah.
And it's really good.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the Bronx, but I'm the Bronx version, but just the candy corn, we went through a bag pretty quick.
Yeah.
General things you found in your bucket, Tootsie Roll Pops.
Sure.
Or Tootsie Rolls by themselves.
And the little 2, maybe 3-pack, if you got lucky, of Sweet Tarts in the paper, not, they're in plastic. Freaking weirdies. Ruin the environment, bring the paper packs back.
Here's one thing that you'll probably never find again. My great-grandmother used to make homemade popcorn balls.
Right. I was just thinking about stuff like that, and caramel apples.
Yeah, like you would not, that stuff didn't survive through like the 80s and 90s because that could be easily poisoned.
But there is a business that makes them and sells them prefabbed, but I'm thinking,
but that's not as good.
No. How long has that been in the shelf sitting there with the business of saw it? And I'm sitting here going, how long were you in the truck? Exposed to what temperatures? You got to be just soggy, mushy, gooey mess.
And it really, like I say, everybody's Halloween trick-or-treating experience was different. Mine being through a lot of neighborhoods, we knew which which the sweet old ladies did those, you made sure to hit those houses. One, because they were sweet old ladies and they loved all the little kids in the neighborhood, even though they were crotchety and mean as hell. They loved Halloween, by gosh, because they were going to the popcorn balls, Rice Krispie treats,
Yes.
the caramel apples. My gosh, they knew how to throw down when it came to Halloween.
Yes.
It's like, okay, you don't have a Milky Way, but by gosh, this popcorn ball, it's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they would, of course, great grandmothers and crotchety old grandmas and whatever. That's the kind of thing they would have made because that's growing up what they would have had. They would have had popcorn and been able to take sugar and make caramel out of it.
Onto their tradition.
And it's
Exactly.
cheaper than buying the stuff at the store.
Yes.
And then you did get those jerks that gave you a toothbrush and toothpaste. I'm like, really?
Yeah. Or raisins.
Yeah.
I do not want, no.
Like, hey, buddy, look, in case you didn't get the memo, this Halloween, we brushed the day after.
So do people still give out like little McDonald's coupon books? Is that still a thing?
I don't think it is, but I remember seeing that at Halloween and at Christmas.
Yes.
It's the perfect gift idea.
Yeah.
Like a 25-cent McDonald's coupon.
I mean, now it's like, give me Cash App you something.
Yeah, or an Amazon gift
It's
card.
like, what's a gift card?
So if Amazon or Cash App would like to sponsor us, hello.
Yes.
Bells Media.
We are all willing.
Oh, what about with shirt? Because this just came to my mind. The little boxes to collect for UNICEF or March of Dimes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which turns into the joke on Saturday Night Live, knock on the door of UNICEF. You're going around collecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's land shark.
I don't think kids do. They would know about UNICEF or March of Dimes.
No, definitely not March of Dimes for
There may
sure.
be some places that it still holds on, but you don't see it as predominant. I mean, like I say, every city, every area, there were commercials running for it at that
Sure.
time too. If you see this box, donate to UNICEF or, donate to March of Dimes. And
It does make you wonder about collecting in holidays because you kind of have to work to find even bell ringers at Christmas now.
Yeah.
You don't have it in Pocahontas often.
Well, that's for the Christmas special.
I'm not saying, but
Let's remember it.
Said that made me think that
Write
you
it
got
down.
that problem here.
Yeah.
People collecting.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Of course, the Kiwanis were their peanut day was yesterday, so we did it.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. They
Completely about it.
hit us at the 4-way.
I know where
If you're listening from a city, the local Kiwanis Club will sit at the main 4-way stop in Pocahontas and collect donations and give you a little packet of peanuts for your donation.
Yep. And let's see. Is it Lions Club that comes out with the Tootsie Rolls? Is that Lions or Rotary?
I cannot remember, but we'll have Rotary and Lions and Veterans of Foreign Wars and a couple of other groups throughout
Yep.
a year, off and on.
something I noticed missing out of the bucket that I know I bought was pixie sticks.
Oh, pixie
That's
sticks.
some of the
Oh, there's
there
some
are.
more.
in the buckets. Yeah.
There
Excellent.
are individual, wonderful gift buckets provided by the folks.
It's pure crack in a little paper stick.
Yeah, it's flavored sugar.
Yeah, it's like super sugared Kool-Aid.
It's held on. It's
Yeah.
held on. Made it to this time. And I have runts.
Wow.
Okay.
Bananas are the best.
And wants to break
yeah.
a tooth.
Yeah,
Go
gotta
around, bottle caps. Who cares?
bottle caps. But I saw Necco wafers in there,
The
and
wafers are in there.
The
Necco
worst-
wafers are nasty.
The worst candy.
Oh.
Man, start sweet.
Big League Chew.
Yes.
Probably
Yeah,
all
those-
chewing.
Yes, we used that a lot when we were when I played Little League.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had to have Big League Chew when you
Yes.
play Little League. I mean, just because that was like,
Spit.
yeah, exactly. Because we just thought we were like the coolest with that it's a big string and you chew on it.
Well, we
I
got
remember
the,
buying it myself. Yeah.
we got the candy cigarettes. And I was telling Bridget, I said, yeah, we used to go down to Siebert's Grocery, which is a little local grocery store where I grew up in Perryville, and get candy cigarettes. We buy IBC root beer because the bottle looked like a beer bottle.
Yes.
We were all these little kids on bicycles, not holding the steering wheel, just drinking our beer and smoking our candy cigarette right in gangs down the street.
Perryville's a rough town.
It's a rough little town. You see those kids, candy cigarettes and IBC root beer. They're killers.
you cross the street, you go the other way.
Yeah, these kids, it's nothing but railroad tracks in Paragould, and they live on both sides.
So, okay, in terms of trick or treat age, in our day, because I know that sometimes there are parents of like newborn babies who will put on costumes and come around trick or treating with their newborn baby.
Yeah, you just want candy.
But that didn't happen in our day, did it?
I don't, unless you already had children.
Yeah, I mean, if
You don't drag the little one with you because it was cold back then.
Yes.
My aunt Laura, when my cousin Matthew Mullins, I'm going to get you in this one. She was pregnant and she did do the shirt that was a big pumpkin on it, and that was Halloween costume because Matt was born shortly after.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a pumpkin one year for Halloween, didn't even know it. But no, you really see people taking infants around, but once they hit toddler age,
I think if you could talk and say trick or treat, then you go.
Then you go.
You understand the concept.
Yes.
So where's your top? I mean, where's the top end? What, like even today at a trunk or treat, but even back in our day, what would have been? I'm not going trick or treating anymore. I'm too old.
Yeah, I think it would differ per child, but
No, but in general,
I would say 10, teen, tween.
Okay, so you're going junior high, you're going tween. Last time I trick or treated was 17.
And
free candy.
And that's okay. Yeah, we used to have
give me free candy.
Yeah, older children when we had a huge influx. I didn't care. If you came to my door and you said trick or treat, bam, here's you some candy, and I also had like the cool toys and stuff too.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Well,
I've already paid for it. I'm going to get rid of it.
Where my parents lived in Parrotwood, it was nothing unusual because we lived in a street in a circle. It was nothing unusual to see 400 or 500 more kids in a night.
Wow.
I mean, we bought a lot of candy. So by the time I hit, junior high, my job became work the door.
You used to find my high school my school 7 through 12, 400 or 500 people.
Wow. Nothing unusual about it. I mean, it is now because it's fallen off. But the thing would be all of our family would bring their kids and they would trick or treat the circle because it was off the road, safe, the road wasn't a whole lot of traffic. Mm-hmm. Well, Dad would just make up a big pot of chili and we'd have hot dogs so everybody'd eat everything there. And Halloween, it was cold. So it was chili time. Mm-hmm. And that was my job. Hey, you get to hand out candy, which you think, oh gosh, that's really horrible. But then I'm like, okay, here's some candy for you. Have a happy Halloween. And here's a couple pieces for you. I'll wait for the next one to come.
I mean, that's the tax. That was your pay.
You learn it. But yeah, I mean, that's how it was. Why it fell off, or transition to me. But working the door was, my parents wanted to visit with all the other adults. Put the teenager up there. He doesn't trick or treat. Of course, you did like when someone come up and it was like someone you go to school with. I'm like, really? Well, look at you out getting free candy tonight. I love your costume. And you dog them. Someone gave in trash bags one night, and they were white trash. Mm-hmm.
Nice,
white trash bags. I was like, very creative.
No, I didn't want to say it, but that's what I went with.
Well, but speaking of the white trash costumes, the costumes have gotten so much more specific and
expensive.
And expensive. But, back, in 70s, 80s, maybe early 90s, I don't know. I was done trick-or-treating by then. But, you had your kind of very, superhero, ballerina, astronaut, member of KISS, whatever. Ghost.
Witch.
And kids today would no more stand for being generic ghost or generic dancer than no. I mean, going back to my coworker whose group is doing Goonies this year. A couple of years back when her son was still young enough to be doing the trick-or-treating, he wanted to be the Titanic. So a big cardboard boat that he could wear was made, and she dressed up like a captain to walk him around.
I mean, I'd want to be the iceberg. I mean, come on.
I know. That's so that you could say, iceberg right ahead. Yeah. But costumes have just gotten, there's it's leveled up.
Oh, it's a lot.
Big.
There's a whole story to the whole thing.
Instagram and Pinterest really,
really started taking it up another level. The thing I'll say too, this is very Gen X, it's quite funny. Same night got friends that were white trash came, another group came up in trash bags. Well, no, we got white trash there for them. No, we're the California raisins.
Ah.
I was like, oh. Yeah.
And, that to me also goes back to pop culture really influencing you look back at early 20th century, Halloween pictures that are just frightening in of themselves. But you're not Ghost, you're Slimer from Ghostbusters. You can't just be put on a cape and be a superhero. You've got to be Wonder Woman or Superman or whatever. Can't have these generic sort of things anymore. And things like the California Raisins and cartoons like Justice League and all of that stuff really started showing up big time.
In E.T., when they took E.T. out with them trick-or-treating.
Yes.
Yoda costume.
Yes.
Which is fantastic. But the same thing. I mean, there's not, oh, you're a ghost. Oh, no, it would be more like, I'm the ghost of Anne Boleyn. You better get it right.
Oh, one of my nieces, Emily, when one year she was dead Miley Cyrus. I've got a picture of that somewhere. Louise was a vampire. Emily was dead Miley Cyrus.
Awesome.
Have no idea what Chloe was that year. But yeah, and of course now their Halloween costumes tend to be rather brief. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, of course, obviously we act like adults. I won't say act. We fit the demographic. Later on, where does it go from your Halloween costume was, I'm a cat. Well, I'm a sexy cat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Slutty cat.
I'm a nurse. I'm a slutty nurse.
Yeah.
I'm a cop. I'm a slutty
When
cop.
I was like
I'm Tarzan. I got the loincloth.
junior high or maybe low senior, I might have been like 11th grade or something like that. Went to a party and one of the awards was sluttiest or sexiest costume. Who's wearing the I mean, we are.
You're 12.
I mean, at this point, I think it was probably like 15 or
Okay,
16.
but still, you're 15.
Yeah, I mean, sexiest.
But there's somewhere in that, there's a line, and it's usually when the hormones kick in.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I don't want to just be a nurse. I want to be a sexy nurse.
Yeah.
I don't think it ever dawned on me. Of course, I guess guys, it probably wouldn't as much because I'm the only one that is on that.
Yeah, the sexy or slutty costumes, those are all for girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's turn the tables. I want to see some, sexy lumberjacks or sexy mechanics. Look at the firemen. We've got that, I guess.
Yeah, you got the firemen.
Yeah. My wife isn't getting that. Sorry. I'm a sexy Ghostbuster.
You got some shorts and a crop top.
Well, now that I think about it, that might be a fun costume. It'd be fun for me. It'd be incredibly embarrassing to my children. No, Dad, why? I don't love Ghostbusters, but why?
Don't cross those streams.
You know what they call me, Slimer. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
No Dana, only Zool.
Just shows we can run anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's another one of those things with Halloween that, you talk about people taking an infant trick-or-treating, and then, you got this long range of costumes, and then it becomes, I have to be the sexy version of that. Mm-hmm. And then I think once you start moving out of your 20s, that stops.
Yeah.
The brain rewires and goes, what the hell am I doing? Mm-hmm. I should have a real job, Diane. But there's
You call it together from what's in the house.
Yeah.
About
Yeah, absolutely.
Halloween traditions and like costumes that were frightening. Like when you see like the costumes like in the past, before our generation, I was thinking about the scene in Meet Me in St. Louis.
Yes.
When it's Halloween night and they're like burning things in the street. And the kids talk about some feral children.
They're throwing flour at the people.
Yes.
That's such a great film.
Yeah, I mean, I would not want to trick or treat in that neighborhood. Those kids were mean.
I mean, but that was what
they did.
That was the norm at the time.
Yeah,
before
trick or treat actually meant trick.
Yes. And
not anymore.
I mean, we toilet paper people's houses on Halloween. Maybe egg them, depending on who you are. Maybe throw a little biscuit dough. definitely tons of toilet paper got done. I guess we never threw flour. Oh, flour. I guess that would be something interesting to throw at somebody.
Yeah.
Man, you talk about whoever's getting hit with flour. If you don't have a costume on, by God, they're going to know who you are.
Mhm.
You got to get up close for that shot. At least the egg, you get a little distance.
Yeah.
Toilet paper, you just got to go stealth.
Yeah.
Stop giggling. Stop giggling like I know we're here. Throw the toilet paper and run. We're covered quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean,
We're crossing the 56-minute mark.
whoa.
The double XL episode.
Well, I mean, come on. The Gen Experts always have a lot to say about everything.
We're very opinionated in
Just
our old
true.
age.
Mhm.
It's okay. Our parents are more opinionated. Just ask them.
Uh-huh.
Oh, but we'll sign us off here. Yeah, boom, boomer. I'll sign us off here. Remember, everybody, please give us a follow, comment, ask again if there's something you'd like us to cover. If there's a subject you'd like to know more about, we will be very willing to cover that subject. We're experts, and by gosh, we need the material. This is Gen Experts Podcast, Derek Post. We're signing off.
Bye.